Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be here, and I feel a little bit more home because who's attending the cloud ecosystem is at least more familiar with the topic of ecosystem and partnerships. On the other hand side, it's very much about integration partnerships, about API connections and automation, but there's so much more in partnerships. There are these, even in partnerships who work very well without any integration. Can you believe that? So there are the channel partnerships, there are product partnerships where you don't need to have systems talk to each other. You have communities. So I'm really excited to have a very diverse group of people who are experienced partnership leaders, all in the SaaS business, but covering a broad variety of partnerships. So not just integrations, but respective a lot of different ways to make and utilize partnerships to achieve capital efficient long-term growth. We don't have too much time for so many knowledge on the stage, so I try to keep my mouth shut and also invite you to connect to the people afterwards if you have follow-up questions. I would like to jump in directly into the first question. We made a pretty bold statement. We said partnerships are mission critical. Hanna, what is the one reason why partnerships are mission critical for Palua?
So for Palua, partnerships are mission critical because on the one hand, we are doing more than 50% of our revenues through partners. On the other hand, and I think this is something that we can all share, is that you can save a lot of costs. Customer acquisition cost can be tremendously decreased through partnerships. So I think those are the two main reasons for why partnerships are mission critical for Palua.
For Martin, you are more than 15 years in the industry. You have built great businesses with partnerships. What is the driver for you at Zendesk?
So what we discovered at Zendesk is, we only recently started the partner business or growing it now, but what we're already seeing is that customers are converting a lot better. They come through partnerships, they leave more money with us, they stay longer with us. So this is like a plan that we want to grow, and I think we believe that this will become a really critical part of our business in the future.
Okay. Niklas, what's sorry for Hero?
Yeah, there are many reasons to go with partnerships or start partnerships because on the one hand, it prevents churn when you have a strong lock-in effect. On the other hand, it's also to reach new customers and just to go when all your performance marketing channels are not scaling anymore, you have more attention to fill the funnel again.
Okay. Abhi, what's for you?
There's an invisible currency called influence, which that partnership that unlocks that currency. It's not because there are 10 other products from your competition who can pump in more on ads, more on salespeople, but influence that comes through partnerships. That's very critical for any SaaS company trying to sell right now to the market.
I think this influence one is very important and at the same time very hard one to catch, right? I think, Niklas, you had an example which you mentioned about influence, which you didn't even know, and which had a significant impact on your company's success, right?
It was an example for the fair in Munich, where one of our partners, SDH, a wholesaler for cars, for craftsmen, just had another partnership with Samsung, and they displayed their cell phones and the smartphones, and on the display, because it was a craftsman's fair, just our app was in the screen. So this is a small side effect when you have a strong partner network.
I mean, it's a bit like the Airbnb story, which exploded because Apple put their icon on their iPhone advertisement, and everybody's like, "Oh, what is that logo?" Right? And this is something you usually can't even buy. This happens because you have that ecosystem, right? And I guess the one thing I learned is most SaaS companies are measured by the relation between the customer lifetime value, how much money you make with a customer, and your customer acquisition costs. How much do you pay to acquire that customer? And depending on the type of your partnerships typically influence either one or even both of these parameters in a positive way. So your overall main KPI, the relation of what you get from a customer, how you pay to acquire him, becomes better for anything which is partner supported, partner influenced, partner sourced. I think this is what we see and what I try to explain to B2B SaaS leaders. Hey, if you want to do partnerships, what is the thing you want to get out of that? So there still a lot of partnerships fail. There's a statement that 80% of partnerships in SaaS business fail, which is dramatic. And I actually get crazy about it because I think there's so much power in it, but there are so many mistakes which are made. Martin, what is the major mistake you would recommend to avoid when starting or launching a partnership program?
So, I mean, I think first of all, it's you need to be mindful of it's not about quantity, but I think about quality of partnerships, right? Rather have a few less partnerships than a lot of partnerships, and then I mean, keep in mind that partnerships is something that you don't just establish once, then you turn around and turn to the next partnership. It's something that needs to be constantly maintained, and where you also need to invest in, and you will get something back from your partner if you invest something in the partnership. I mean, at the beginning, have a good selection, like talk to your partners, have clear goals, mutual goals, clarity, transparency about your goals, and then you both sides need to be ready to invest in the partnerships, and then they will flourish. Otherwise, I mean, you will just have another logo on your website, and there will be no effect for your company, for your customers, and also for your partner.
Abhi, you did a lot of integration in your past. What is your kind of takeaway on that part?
The one common mistake that I've seen repeatedly happening over a period of time, that people believe that integrations are partnerships. This is a famous quote by someone we know. Integrations are not partnerships. It's just a flow of data that happens. Partnerships goes on a deeper level. So investing more into right after building up the integration and going back to their company and saying, hey, here are my customers who are actually using the integration. Why don't we go together and form a partnership to go into the market together? So my key problem that I see is that once we build, they'll come and buy from us is a general idea in the market, but that's not the case actually.
I think we had this in the previous talk where Personi said that they had 130, maybe up to 200 integrations. And my question would be, how many of them are real partnerships and how many of them have been some SaaS company using the open API to connect, but just having the systems to talk is not really having people talk to each other to do something with that integration. But that's very much about partnerships in the tech space. What is the mistake you have seen, Niklas, in your experience?
I can agree to the other guys in the first step, but maybe not a mistake, but it should be within your company. It should be a strategic decision to go with partnerships because it's not like another performance marketing channel. It needs time, it needs trust, it needs resources, not just from one partner manager, but from marketing, from product, and it needs the commitment within the company to be able to set up really meaningful partnerships.
The funny thing is that people do have in mind that it might need impact sales, it might need resources for marketing. Yasmin, who was so kind to introduce us, she's legal, right? I need legal. I need accounting. I need BI systems because somebody needs to make sure that we can charge the partner or bill the partner or collect money from the partner if there's flow of money involved. Somebody needs to check the contracts or create these contracts. Somebody needs to create partner T&Cs. So it's not just sales and marketing. It goes in literally every department in the company. Hanna, how was the thing for you? What is the thing you feel people do not make right when they start partnerships?
I think the big danger that we see in the market is that there's so much buzz around partnerships and everyone wants to do partnerships, right? It's kind of like the modern thing to do right now, or the thing to do. But I think the real thing that you need to do when wanting to start with partnerships is like, take a step back and think like, what do you really want to achieve, right? Because there's so much stuff you can achieve with partnerships. And I think just kicking things off because this is what you do is the wrong approach. So it's like really sit down and think about the actual goal that you want to achieve with partnerships. Is it revenue? Is it like reducing customers' acquisition costs? Is it co-marketing? Is it some technical ecosystem, whatever, right? And then not assuming that when you've done partnership once in a company is that you know exactly how it's done, right? It's every time it's different. So you really need to do your strategy, think about your actual goal, what do you want to achieve, and then not doing the mistake of like thinking, I want to start today and I want to see results tomorrow. And we've already heard that it takes time, it takes relationships, and it takes a whole village. So what we did at Palua is we started an evangelization campaign. It was actually a fun How I Met Your Mother video that we kind of rebranded to how partnerships is being done. And on a daily basis, and even in the employee onboarding, we educate people what partnerships means for Palua. And that can mean a complete different thing than what it means for Safdex or another company, right? So it takes a village, it takes time, it's always different, and it's a people business. It's an ecosystem that you need to build. And that would be like my main takeaways, but at the same time, this is also the main mistakes that are being done when people start thinking about partnerships or start to build their strategy around it.
I can only second that. One thing we see is that you not just only have to work externally, but you also have to work internally. So like Jasmine said, like I sat down with you and tried to navigate her through our partner business, because also in Uber it was pretty unique and it was completely different to stuff which I did before in Search Metrics and in other companies. And there are always this particular twist. Yes, there are stuff which you can replicate. There are learnings you can, there are methodologies you can derive from it, but there's not an easy blueprint you can just copy and paste. And I think this is something where what we also see that founders, executives, board members say, hey, let's do partnerships. I heard it's a new cool thing. Okay, who should do it? I don't know. Let's take this person. And then expect this one person to do miracles, right? And I think this is one big challenge. And the other one, I would like to double down on what you said. Very often it's like, what is the goal? So we do run also training sessions for partner managers, and I typically ask them, what are you measured on? And very often I hear revenue. But revenue is, if anything, a result and not the goal of a partnership. And depending on what you do, you sometimes have a more marketing role where you generate leads. Sometimes it's retention. You want to retain your customers. You want to get activation, which is all different place. That's not net new revenue can easily measure in a pipeline. So a lot of times the evangelism is very, very important internally as much as externally. Anything I forgot? Anything you would like, Hanna?
I think just one last thing to say is like, I think it really helps if really the mission and the partnership mindset really stems from the founder or from the core leadership team. And if you are the person who's driving partnerships, make sure you get the buy-in from your peers and from your cross-departmental leads, because you will need them and you will be dependent on them. Be it for partner enablement, be it for partner marketing, be it for any product integrations, be it for the legal contract. So really make sure that everyone is on board and joins your purpose and your mission, because only then you will be successful.
And just to add on to what Hanna said, right? A partnership manager's mission is to pretty much make everyone else in the company also successful. So they win only if other people win, and the other people have to let them help to win. Like sometimes there's a lot of, I would say, resistance for help. Like if a partner wants to step inside a deal, a salesperson's more scared to open up the deal to a partner because thinking that they're going to lose it. But the partner is rather helping you win that deal. So being open to let people win internally, that's very important in terms, and it needs to come down from leadership.
And maybe one more thing that just came up is make sure your incentives are aligned, right? Because what you don't want to achieve is like exactly what you said, like a salesperson, an account executive being scared to bring in a partner because they think part of their commission will be diminished. But rather educate them on the fact that your deals will be bigger, your deals will be closed faster, and on top of it, you'll get your commission. So there's actually nothing you should be scared about. On the contrary, right? Make sure you bring in the right partners in order to close your deals faster, bigger, and also get your bonus at the end of the day.
I mean, mindful being of the cloud ecosystem being a lot of integrations. One topic which I really love and passionately fight against is this infamous channel conflict. which is typically when you work with reseller or referral partner, that the direct sales team is afraid to lose the deal to a partner and vice versa. And there's a simple truth, there's no channel conflict. It's not a direct sales deal. It's not a partner deal. It's your company's deal. Who brings home the money for the company doesn't matter in the end of the day. The only channel conflict that might be there, and actually it's a luxury problem I only had once, when you have 2 or 3 partners competing in the same RFP for a big chunk of a deal. But then, you know what? You treat them as equally and fair as possible because you increase your win chances massively. Because you maybe have 3 horses in the race and your competitors only directly in there. It's a 3-to-1 win chance. So, but again, it's really be transparent about it, being aware of it, and manage it in a proper way. We kind of touched a bit on that already. So if you would, if anybody would like to rethink their strategy here or start the partner strategy, how would you recommend to go with it? What was the first thing you would recommend, Niklas? How to start it?
Sorry?
How to start a partnership initiative?
I think you really should get clear what you want to achieve with partnerships. So what is your expectation? What do you want from the partner? What can you offer the partner? And how is it going along? And when is a partnership successful? And when not, when there is a lack of expectation and management, then you will always end up in a failure or with disappointment. And the clearer you are with yourself and with your goals, the more likely your partnership will succeed.
Yeah, that's also a very strong point. I mean, sometimes it's very unclear what they want to achieve. Even if it's clear what they want to achieve, it's not so clear how much. So you cannot be successful if success is not defined. And that has also a dimension of quantity. So if you want to do a partnership to generate partner-sourced leads, okay, are 10 leads good enough for you? Which might be the case if you are a high-level enterprise solution. Or do you need 10,000 leads because you are in an SMB space and you need volume to be successful? Martin, what is the thing you would recommend to do?
I mean, goal setting is I think, the very first thing you need to do. The other thing is creating that mandate inside the company. I've been talking to some 30-ish companies and partner managers in the last year, and a lot of time it felt like really it was the CEO or someone heard something about partnerships. They hired one person and they just expected go out and do some partnership magic, right? And it's not about going out, talking to companies, signing a contract, and then suddenly the leads will flow. I mean, nobody's waiting for your company to send you leads, right?
I just want a second. So number one is typically partnerships work when there's something in for you, something in for the partner, and something in for your customer. Because if there's not a customer at the end, somebody needs to profit from that as well. So these are the ideal scenario. Regarding the IPP, there's something which I found very interesting is partnership is a long-term relationship. It's not transactional, it's mutual. So if you define your IPP, the biggest question you have to do is what can I do to become an IPP for my IPP? So it's more about not what can he do for me, but it's what can I do for the partner. And that's why the looking at the Salesforces or HubSpots or Adobes or global system integrators will not work is because there's not much for them to win with you because you are the small guy at the moment. And unless you have that extremely disruptive, mega cool solution, chances are that they will not be supportive of your integration right from the start. So punch above, I always say, try to punch above one level above your own weight, maybe.
I think what helped me a lot is also really putting yourself in the partner's shoes, from what you said, and understand their business model. What is their core business? And you should really make sure to add to their core business because that's what they want to care about, or that's what they will care about. So if you add on their core business, that's when you have a chance in. If you're just a side business, there's no way you're going to get the buy-in of the partner. So really put yourself in their shoes and think about what's their core business, what's their business model, what are they actually making money with, or what's their goal. And then you will also increase the chances of actually being seen as a valued partner. And then you can also bring more value to their table, obviously.
I think that you told a story about the expectation of professionalism partner management that you very often have meetings where your partner, initial meetings, you doesn't seem to be prepared, right?
I think not prepared is the wrong word, but a lack of data is the right phrase. So we are working together, make marketing campaigns, and so on. And afterwards, there's okay. And so what? What's now? Or what's the result? Because in many cases, it's really difficult to measure the direct success of partnerships. So everybody will know the last click measurement from Google Ads and so on. And in Salesforce, the source of your lead is Google Ads and not partnership or whatever. So to have some basic performance indicators like views, like page impressions, like click-through rate, these are the basics I think you should share, because this could be indicators how successful a partnership is, even if you don't look on how much money did you earn in the end.
Cool. We are running out of time. I mean, the one thing I would like to add to that is that very often partnerships are created without clear expectation setting, not only internally, but also within the partnership. In my career, I had very often conversations with partnership people, business development people who were building a castle in the sky. And then I said, like, sorry, I'm slow in understanding. Can you explain who pays whom for what? And this really boiled it down and made it very transactional. What are you expecting from me? What I should bring into the partnership? And let me tell you what I expect from you to bring into this partnership. And only if then both sides say, yeah, that makes sense for us, then you have a good start. Otherwise, you may work hard and you invest a lot in the partnership and nothing will return because you didn't align on these expectations. Anything else we missed?
We spoke a lot about acquisition and acquiring new customers from like your partners, but there's a very key SaaS businesses run on retention.
Retention, yeah.
It's more how much of revenue you save. And one common metric across two platforms that I've seen, Pipedrive and Freshworks, is the more integrations or the more partners you're connected to, the lifetime value increases. And that's somewhat of an afterthought for partner managers itself. But when you start leading with, oh, I'm able to save so many $1 million of business because they're integrated with so many other tools, that also changes like leadership view of the entire thing. Oh, it's not just for revenue, but it's also mainly for retention and keeping
it's
back
also
on
revenue.
Yeah.
It's just
That
not new revenue.
Yeah. It's much easier to save and keep money in your own pocket than go out and reach for new ones. So I think a lot of leadership fail to see that part of partnership itself.
And maybe just one last thing that we also didn't really discuss about is the implementation, right? Especially in the SaaS business, the core business is selling software, not implementation or services. So if you don't get the right partners on board that support you with this, there's no way you're going to scale the way you want to scale, because your business is still software, and you can build a parallel organization for services and implementation, but that's usually exactly what you won't do. So you need the right partners and you need to enable them. So everything that's post-sale needs to be handled through partners as well for a successful, scalable SaaS business, in my opinion.
And now happened what I expect. Thank you. It's a very good point, and we are already over time. So I can only invite you to dive deeper, and if something found interesting, grab any one of these wonderful experts, and happy to have follow-up calls. Thank you so much.